to Equities Cyclicals with Scott.
Right, Equities Cyclicals. As Keith alluded to, there's been a bounce in the last couple of weeks on the cyclicals. Starting out with the S&P 500 super sectors, basic materials, we're up 7.16% for the 2 weeks. We've got Royal Gold leading the charge at 12.8%, titanium metals 12.2%, southern copper 9.4%. On the other side, we've got, again, US steel, was mentioned in the last meeting, underperforming at around 5%, but down 52% year to date, so quite significant. Worthington Industries, actually the only stock that came in negative there, 1.9% down, which is 20% down for the year to date as well. Just looking at rubber, we've got Cabot, which came in at 13% for the 2 weeks move.
Down?
Up.
Oh, okay.
Industrials, 6.68% up for the period. We've got, on the upside, we've got Boeing, which is coming in at 11.42. Underperforming the market, we've got Southwest Airlines coming in at 4.6%. Consumer discretionary came in at 6.8% for the 2 weeks. Interestingly enough, we've got a lot of premium brands which performed very well over the last 2 weeks. We've got Tiffany's that managed 20%, Harley Davidson 13.5%, Ralph Lauren 11.6%. On the other side, you've got companies like Gap, basically didn't perform at all for the period of 0%. Staples 1.8%, which is 40% year to date down. So interesting that they performed so well during that time. Information technology 6.23%. Motorola, obviously the Google purchase, everybody's talking about the patents at the moment, so they performed 50 bips negative for the period. A large tech stock, JDS Uniphase, 34% for a 2 week move. They were upgraded by various analysts, they outperformed the estimates that were coming in. And then Hewlett Packard, 42% year to date negative, performed 4.5% for the period, but there's another story that we'll go into when we go to the European space. And then the financials performing 4.27% for the period. Sector being weighed down by Goldman's, which was off 4.3% over the 2 weeks due to the Fed announcement and the talking about the mortgages and servicing, etc. Moving into Europe, Euro stocks, super sectors, oil and equipment services came in at 7.74%, industrial and commercial services 7.64%, tech hardware 7.4%, outperforming that sector massively were Logitech International 19.6% for the period, and Invensys, which was coming in at 17.2%.
Logitech have been absolutely battered this year, haven't they?
Yeah, no, yeah.
What was it down like 60% before that?
It's before that recovery. Yeah. Construction and materials 6.74%, being led by Balfour Beatty. Tech software 6.5% for the 2 week period. Within that is autonomy. Autonomy basically being taken over by Hewlett Packard with a bid of £25 per share, which was a nice little return on that one. And obviously, going back to the Hewlett Packard story, they're restructuring their business and have decided to take on autonomy as part of that. We also have United Internet AG, which is an internet service provider. It was hit fairly hard in early August. It's recovering now. Did 15% during the 2 week period. Media 5.38%, personal goods 5.34%, oil and gas producers 4.97%. We've got OMV and ENI, which outperformed quite significantly, 13 and 10% respectively for the 2 week period. Quite well diversified companies. Industrial metals 4.26%, retail 4.12%, insurance 4.07%, travel and leisure 3.83%, Ryanair finally coming off 0.32% for the period, and Lufthansa underperforming 2.3% for the 2 weeks. Automobiles and parts 3.35% for the 2 weeks, but Porsche was doing 8%, VW 4.6% during those 2 weeks. Chemicals 2.82, banks 1.94. Banks, RBS, Lloyds, Barclays performing well these last couple of days due to the no major restructuring until 2015. But not surprisingly, given the recent refocus on Greece, we've got Alpha Bank down 24%, National Bank of Greece down another 20% for 2 weeks. Finally, non-life insurance, one sport 38%. And that concludes Europe.
Okay, cool. Autonomy situation, phenomenal. So I did 67% on that, 67% return. Not bad, 5 months. But I was actually kicking myself because at one point I was actually short HP against it.
Oh my God.
So I've been long autonomy for like 5 months, and I've had short Dell, swapped it for short HP, swapped it for short Micron.
Well, you've got to be thankful for the game.
Oh, I know, but
yeah.
there was a
lot
lot of people I know were in it. It's great.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here? That basically saved my August. So it was second best month this year, August for me. But where do we go from here? Okay, I'm looking for the next cloud play. Lots of names about. I think as the market, if the market comes off, you should be looking to pick those up if you're going to buy anything. Cloud stocks. One of the main concerns is security over the cloud. So pair it up. There's a couple of names out there. Do your homework. There's a couple of names out there you can get hold of. But I'm looking at, actually, because we're going to be using, as a company, the Amazon cloud here. I've bought a little bit of Amazon, but I'm probably going to add to it. One stock that's been battered, so cloud web security, and it was a bit of a favourite retail stock, but I think people might have been bailing on it now, is WebSense. I was actually long and cut it in August, but I might look at a second bite of the cherry. The only reason why I cut it was out of discipline, but also because on the day of autonomy, I had autonomy and WebSense together against a couple of shorts, and I thought, just trade out of the whole lot. Use autonomy as an excuse to clean your book up a bit. So, WebSense is off. WebSense is off quite hard in the last 6 weeks. So Amazon and WebSense, cloud, and cloud security.
Interestingly enough, Amazon did 17.5% in the last 2 weeks as well.
Yeah. In the industrial metal space, I'm still long copper stocks, short other industrial metal stocks. So I'm short Century Aluminium, and my favourite long copper stock is still Antofagasta. It's actually not down that much, Antofagasta, in the last 4 weeks. I think it was trading 1340, 1350, kind of like mid-range over the last couple of days. Down a bit today though, isn't it? But copper supply still tight in China, and copper hasn't really been hit that hard. And I've still got luxury autos versus airlines. So BMW, Porsche, short Lufthansa, and short IAG. One thing that's really hurting Lufthansa, and it went a little bit unnoticed in August because of all the turmoil in the wider markets, is the German air tax, the environmental air tax that they brought in early this year. Air Berlin, the CEO left on August the 18th. They missed numbers. He resigned and basically said they can't pass on higher fuel costs and the cost of the air tax to customers. And what he's seeing is German families actually travelling to Amsterdam to fly out of Schiphol. And then Lufthansa also have the business end as well, and also IAG, British Airways. And the thing is as well, I've got a couple of dog Spanish junk stocks in the portfolio, and IAG is quite a nice short against the cars, the luxury end, but also because of the Iberia exposure, I've got a kind of natural hedge against the Spanish junk. So short Lufthansa, short IAG, long BMW, long Porsche. Antofagasta, top pick in copper. Short Century Aluminium. Cloud, Amazon, WebSense.
What do you think about shorting these premium brands? Very strange rally for this.
Yeah, I mean, it's always difficult. Like, demand is pretty inelastic. You see Hermes towards the end of last week. No, it was beginning of this week. Hermes came up with record handbag sales. You know, $8,000 for a handbag. You know, luxury brands will hold up relative to everything else.
Like a Mulberry as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm quite happy to be long luxury autos.
Yeah.
Long luxury apparel. Apparel actually in the ISM contracted. They reported contraction. They were one of the industries reporting contraction. But that's more likely to be the lower end, or the middle of the park in terms of apparel price range. Okay, let's move on to defensives with John.